Are you somebody who gets excited about new things and loves to take action? Or do you feel stuck and unmotivated? Stay tuned and learn how to recognize the people, energy, and situations when the Page of Wands shows up in a reading. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we are learning the tarot deck one card at a time. Today's card is the Page of Wands. Before we talk about this page specifically, I want to talk about pages in general. You can see him here with the other members of his court family, the Knight, Queen, and King. Pages are kind of like an annoying little brother, if you've ever had that experience. They don't have a lot of authority, knowledge, or maturity, but that doesn't stop them from wanting to be included in everything you do. Pages were the youngest members of the royal court. According to Wikipedia, pages were attendants to a nobleman, knight, or governor. Once they turned 7, their parents would send them to a castle or the estate of a noble family. They would work for about 7 years, and their jobs included running messages, serving, cleaning clothing and weapons, and learning the basics of combat. For this reason, pages in tarot represent receiving messages of some kind. Because pages are young, they are very inquisitive, excited, and mostly eager to please. Like most children, their whole life is about learning, discovery, and growing. So when pages turn up in a reading, they carry a spirit of excitement and discovery. They also had a lot of power because people really didn't take them seriously. If you've ever talked about something in the presence of kids, you know that they pick up more than you think they do. In addition, pages would often overhear things in their job as messengers. On the other hand, pages are still children, so they can be reactive and immature. Think about a toddler you know. They don't have a lot of impulse control. They are prone to tantrums if they don't get what they want. They can make bad decisions, such as running into traffic to get away from you. It's not like they're being malicious, they just are still trying to figure out the world and don't know any better. One of the reasons that court cards are challenging is that they can represent 3 things. The first is a person. The page is traditionally considered to be a child under the age of 14. So they literally represent your child, your niece or nephew, your boss's grandchild, or the kid who lives next door and keeps running over your lawn with their bicycle. The second thing a page can represent is a childlike, excited, and maybe a bit naughty part of yourself. So even though you're a senior citizen, the page card may come up when you are learning tarot and connect with that sense of childlike wonder, and if you're like me, a bit of frustration. The third thing a court card can represent is a situation such as a new approach to life. So a page might be a message that it's time for you to learn something new that will create joy or excitement in your life, or you're finally learning to stand up for yourself after years of feeling like a doormat. So how do you know whether this page represents a person, a part of yourself, or a new approach to life? First of all, go by the question. If it still isn't clear, look at the surrounding cards and their position in a spread. Here's 2 other things to keep in mind when we discuss the court cards. First of all, don't give much credence to the ages, gender, or physical characteristics. The pages all have different color hair and skin tones. Does that mean that a page doesn't represent your younger sibling because they have different color hair or skin, or are a girl, or are over 14? No, it does not. Secondly, and more important, look at the energy from this card. Your level of maturity can vary greatly in different areas of your life. You can have mature youngsters and immature old people. Let me give you an example. Almost 20 years ago, my family moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Long Island, New York. My husband flew and I was left to finish packing up the house and drive my 2 children and my 5 guinea pigs the 3,000 miles to our new home. I am missing the visual spatial gene, and at that point my daughter, who was 9, took charge of packing the car. So even though she was very young, her energy was more of the masculine, take charge, mature king role, and my energy was more of the just tell me what to do energy of the completely overwhelmed child who just wanted to crawl into a ball and cry. One of the easiest ways to understand the personality of the court cards is to understand the chart on the screen. Each member of the court card's personality is related to 2 elements. Here's a quick reminder of what each element means. Pentacles are connected to the element of earth. It's all about things in the material world, such as our bodies, homes, nature, or how we earn our living. These people are very stable. They work hard and enjoy traditions. Wands is connected to the element of fire. These people tend to be feisty, confident, enthusiastic, adventurous, extroverted, passionate, flashy, and high energy. These people make good athletes and good salespeople. Cups are connected to the element of water. This card is all about emotions. Cups people are gentle, loving, sensitive, nurturing, and feel things deeply. These people make good healers and social workers. Swords is connected to the element of air. Swords is all about communicating and expressing ourselves. This includes our thoughts about ourselves as well as our thoughts about the world around us. This encompasses intelligence, knowledge, truth, mental clarity, and our sense of right and wrong. These people make good lawyers and writers. Each of the court cards is made up of 2 elements. The first element is related to their rank. On the column down the left, you can see that all pages are related to earth, all knights are related to fire, all queens are related to water, and all kings are related to air. Each member of the court card also has a suit, and along the top of the chart you can see the 4 suits. Pentacles are related to earth, wands are related to fire, cups are related to water, and swords are related to air. So the Page of Wands is related to earth due to its rank, and because he is wands, he is also related to the element of fire. Think about a forest fire. If something is burning, it is the center of attention and basically consumes everything in its path. It moves quickly and doesn't stop to think, wow, those redwood trees have been around for hundreds of years, so I'll just skip that part. That's the energy of the Page of Wands. The fire part means that he is feisty, confident, passionate, enthusiastic, fast-moving, and happy to be the center of attention. However, just like fire can burn out quickly, so can his interest and enthusiasm. The rank of the page means that he is partly earth element, so he has the ability to be stable and hardworking. In the Page of Wands, we see a fair-haired young man standing alone in a sandy desert. We see 3 pyramids along the right side of the card. The young man is wearing a yellow tunic adorned with salamanders in a circular shape, orange tights, and a yellow cloak with orange lining. He's wearing yellow boots with a flame motif around the cuffs. He's wearing a gray hat with a red plume that looks like a flame. He is holding a wand with both hands and focused on the buds. The sky is blue. When the Page of Wands appears in a reading, it can represent a person you know who is full of curiosity, enthusiasm, energy, ideas, and excitement for life. It can be someone who is young, immature, or young at heart. They are the kind of person that loves activity and adventure, jumps into new experiences with both feet, and love to be the center of attention. It can represent a part of yourself that is getting in touch with your inner child, perhaps by reconnecting with an adventurous spirit that you had when you were young. So maybe you were a kid who loved camping, and you decide that you're going to take a sabbatical from your job and backpack through Europe. Or you were the class clown and you decide that you're going to start doing stand-up comedy. It can represent new beginnings, a time to move forward in a new direction, or a situation where you are spending time with children or receiving good news. Let's talk about the symbolism of the Page of Wands. As I said a few moments ago, wands are related to the element of fire. That is not surprising given the colors in this card are red, orange, and yellow, all the colors of flames. The main image of this card is a fair-haired young man standing alone in the desert. I lived in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona for many years, so I understand the climate shown in this card. Deserts feel as hot as fire. We used to describe it as living in a blow dryer. There are 3 pyramids along the right side of the card. 3 is the number of creativity. Remember the earlier chart which showed the Page of Wands is a combination of the earth element, because all pages are earth, and the fire element, because wands represent fire? Pyramids actually combine these 2 symbols. Pyramids are made up of a square base, which is the symbol of earth, and a triangle top, which is the symbol for fire. The young man is wearing a yellow tunic adorned with salamanders in a circular shape, orange tights, and a yellow cloak with orange lining. This is not a page that is afraid to be noticed. He's wearing yellow boots with a flame motif around the cuffs. This is the same optimistic color that the Fool wore as he started off on his journey. You will see the same fiery colors in all of the wand members of the court cards. The salamander is interesting as they were falsely believed to be fireproof. According to Pam Richards in her book Understanding Tarot, salamanders represent immortality, endurance, good luck, change, and opportunities. Because the tails are not in their mouths, this shows a lack of maturity. She believes this represents that his ideas are more of a spark than a fire and might fizzle out quickly. According to Pam, once the salamander's tail is in its mouth, the energy connects and goes around in a continuous loop. He's wearing a gray hat with a red plume that looks like a flame. It can represent his creativity and ideas. Pam identifies his helmet as a pith helmet. I did some research, and these were a style of helmet designed to shade the wearer's head and face from the sun. According to Wikipedia, this form of headgear was usually associated with the British Empire, and all European and colonial powers used versions of it during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. You can see a picture of it on the screen. The page does not seem to be bothered by the stark landscape. He is holding a wand in both hands and is focused on the buds. The buds on the wand can represent his budding ideas. The fact that the wand is taller than the page can indicate that his ideas are bigger than he is. Since wands are also a phallic symbol, it could represent his budding sexuality. He has that inquisitive look of a child who sees something but doesn't know what it is, but they figure it's gotta be good. The sky is blue and symbolizes clarity. This page has a bright future. When the Page of Wands appears in an upright position, it can represent a person who is full of potential. Think of what it's like when you ask a child what they want to do when they grow up. And they will tell you they want to be an astronaut, a firefighter, a model, a circus clown, and a veterinarian, and they don't see any problem with it. That's a person full of potential, who is also probably a little naive. It can represent someone who is brimming with curiosity and ideas. My son is still like this at almost 30. When he was growing up, he had interests that included writing fiction, fish farming, primitive skills, playing video games, learning Japanese, making chainmail, and a desire to start his own business. He called me the other day and wanted to know what kind of sewing machine he should purchase because he wanted to make custom baggage for he and his wife when they traveled. By the way, his next trip is to Japan and Korea, which in my world is pretty adventurous. The Page of Wands can represent someone who is full of enthusiasm and excitement for life. It's like the kid who is up at 5 a.m. on Christmas morning and are so excited that they can't sit still. I think most of us learn how to temper this excitement as we get older. It is the kind of person who loves activity and adventure and jumps into new experiences with both feet. My niece is like this, literally. For her 18th birthday, she wanted to go bungee jumping, which she couldn't do earlier because you can't jump without parental consent until you're 18, and her parents refused to sign the forms. However, the day she turned 18, she was bungee jumping in Ottawa, Canada, plunging 200 feet downward with a 160-foot rebound. The Page of Wands can be someone who is young, immature, or young at heart. On the other hand, the earth part of their personality is hardworking, so they have the potential to work hard, follow through with their ideas, and be very successful. It can represent a part of yourself that is getting in touch with your inner child, perhaps reconnecting with an adventurous spirit you had when you were young. So maybe you were a child who loved camping and you decide you're going to take a sabbatical from your job and backpack through Europe. Or you were the class clown and you decide you're going to start doing stand-up comedy. It can represent that it's time for you to adopt some of that childlike exuberance and have fun, play, dance, laugh, experiment, and not take things too seriously. It can represent new beginnings and signify that it is your chance to move forward in a new direction. It's time to say yes to new opportunities and experiences, even if you can't see exactly where they will lead. This might be a new project, travel, a new career, or going back to school. It can represent a situation where you are spending time with children. And finally, it can represent a messenger or stranger who brings good news. Here's an example of the upright page of wands from my life. When I was doing the research for this card, it immediately made me think of the TV show Ted Lasso. If you haven't watched it, I'd highly recommend it. The premise of the show is that Ted Lasso, who is an American football coach, is hired to coach a soccer team in England. He is this upbeat, optimistic guy who sees the absolute best in everybody, and he's also pretty naive. Ted moves to England and takes the job despite knowing absolutely nothing about soccer. He doesn't realize that he's been hired because the team's new owner received the team in her divorce and is hoping that Ted will ruin the team so she can get back at her ex-husband. Despite a lot of pressure and criticism, Ted pushes forward with a positive and often unconventional approach to building his team. Even though it's a TV character, Ted Lasso is a great example of the upright page of wands, which is someone who says yes to new opportunities and experiences. When the page of wands appears in a reversed position, it can symbolize a person who is immature. They don't want to grow up or take responsibility for their life. It can symbolize someone who starts arguments for no reason other than that they enjoy conflict, just like the guys we see in the Five of Wands. It can refer to someone who is moody, spoiled, or has temper tantrums. Basically someone who takes out their anger or aggression on the people around them because they're too immature to deal with their own feelings. It can relate to someone who is impatient, unfocused, impulsive, or unreliable. It can be someone who is apathetic, unmotivated, and unenthusiastic. They don't follow through with what they start. Finally, it can mean that you will be receiving bad news. This may be about a delay relating to a project or something you were expecting to happen, including travel. Here's an example of the reverse page of wands from my life, and it's about annoying delays. I have a 2011 Kia Soul. For more than 6 months, I've been getting recall notices about a hydraulic electronic control unit issue. Basically, it is a fuse that needs to be replaced because it can cause an engine compartment fire while the car is parked or while it is being driven. This did not thrill me. I called my dealership as soon as I got the letter, and they didn't have a fix. Kia's helpful suggestion was to not park my car in the garage because if it catches fire, at least it won't burn down my house. This did not thrill me either. Understandably, I would like it fixed. It is a fuse, for heaven's sakes. It's not like they have to redesign the entire engine. It's been 6 months. I just had my car in for servicing, and they still don't have a fix available. This is a good example of delays and someone, in this case a car company, not taking quick enough action. Here are some questions to help you connect with the Page of Wands. Number 1, are you living up to your potential? Number 2, are you someone who gets excited about new experiences? Is there something that prevents you from getting excited or expressing your excitement? Number 3, is there something you enjoyed as a child that you'd like to try again as an adult? Number 4, what do you do when you find yourself apathetic and unmotivated? Number 5, is there an area of your life that has become too routine? How can you fix this? And finally, number 6, how do you handle delays? I hope this video has helped you connect with the Page of Wands, and please join me for the next video, which is the Knight of Wands.